Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for wearing green to those of you who wore green. Got my message. Thanks to you who came out for our walk this morning, too. It was such a lovely walk. I had so much fun, especially the Arts Exploratory kids. Thank you so much. So this morning, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to give you a little bit of history about Earth Day, and then I'm just going to talk briefly about what we have done on campus and what we'll do for the rest of the month. So many of us know that Earth Day is a time to plant trees and cleaning parks, but it has a rich history rooted in activism. Back in late 1960s, former Wisconsin Senator Gaylord Nelson was alarmed by the growing environmental problems. So inspired by the anti-war movement by some students, he envisioned a day dedicated to raising awareness about mounting environmental concerns. The first Earth Day in 1970 saw a massive turnout, around like 20 million people around the country, and these were like placed in all different places, and they all were protesting for a healthier planet. This public outcry led to the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, and landmark environmental legislations like the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, and the Endangered Species Act. So today, Earth Day is a global day of action uniting people in over 190 countries to address pressing issues like climate change, things like oil pipelines, water protection, all of those things that we cover today. And every year there's a theme for Earth Day, and this year the theme is Planet versus Plastic, which is a call to reduce all plastic production by 60%, by 2040, and to phase out all single-use plastics by 2030. So here at Brooks, I'll be partnering with Ms. Stoney and Health Services, and we'll be offering a challenge in the coming weeks. So look out for an email about that. You can get a nice water bottle. So since the inception of Earth Day in 1970, we've seen a number of developments and movements take place. One of those is the environmental justice movement, which has grown significantly over the years with an increased awareness around environmental racism and the unequal burden and pollution that pollution and environmental hazards have had on low-income communities and BIPOC communities around the country. A pivotal movement came in 1982 when the grassroots movements around environmental justice started. These included the protests some of you may have heard on PCB, a landfill in Warren County, North Carolina. This protest stood as a marker that people were understanding and willing to take a stand to generate awareness and impart change on the impact that toxic chemical locations and landfills have had on low-income communities and BIPOC communities. Another pivotal moment came in 1990 when sociologist, some of you may know, Robert Bullard, he published a book that was considered to be the first overarching book on environmental injustice. And that book is called Dumping in Dixie, Race, Class, and Environmental Quality. This book underscored the importance of race as a major factor in the locations of unwanted facilities that produce toxic chemicals. There have also been many large-scale policy shifts aimed at environmental justice due to ongoing public pressure and advocacy. The 1994 Executive Order on Environmental Justice is a key example, which directed federal agencies to consider the impact of environmental policies on BIPOC and low-income communities. This was a major turning point, but despite progress, some progress that we've had, environmental justice issues persist. BIPOC communities and low-income communities still face disproportionate exposure to pollution and often lack access to clean air, clean water, and just healthy places to live in general. So we all have to educate ourselves, generate awareness, and do our part. So Earth Day isn't just about acknowledging the problems, it's about taking action. This year at Brooks, we've been trying to do our part through efforts that No Planet B and our eco-reps have been doing around campus. We've done the green dorm certification, which some of you received stickers for. We partnered with some students from BSU and Alianza, and they gave you that awesome talk on Friday on environmental justice. We opened a thrift store, which we appreciate so many of you donating to. It's been great, and thank you guys so much for that. Lights Out Brooks on Saturday. We had a good time. Not as many people were here on campus as we would have hoped, but We had a good time, and I'm hoping that some people can take from that, like how you can conserve energy. You just simply turn your lights off, right, when you leave a room. So coming up, we're going to be doing some work on the green roof that we have over the science building. With Ms. Musto, we're going to do a visible mending workshop you should check out this week. And we're collaborating with the library staff on Tuesday, so tomorrow during lunch, you'll be able to go make some seed bombs. And then also with Ms. Bolette, wherever you are, there you are, we will be having a pollinator garden behind Peabody, and we'll also be having a community garden for staff. So we all have a role to play, big or small. We can make changes in our daily lives, like reducing waste, reserving energy, and supporting sustainable practices. We can raise awareness, speak up for environmental justice, environmental protection, and hold our leaders accountable. As Jane Goodall said, she's a legendary conservationist, what you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. So I want to leave you with that quote to think about, and I also want to leave you with a video from Jane Goodall. In this video, she pretty much talks a little bit. There you go.
In the 60s, but when I went to Gombe National Park, it was part of a great forest. And by the late 1980s, it was just a little island of forest with hills cleared around it. The reason that I'm traveling around is because so many people are losing hope because of the mess we're making of the planet. And if everybody loses hope, especially the youth, then we're doomed. Because if you lose hope, you become apathetic. What's the point of bothering to do anything if you don't have hope that it's going to make a difference? I think the big problem with the public and the natural world is that we're becoming more and more separated from it, more and more divorced from the natural world. And young people are spending all their time on their social media. And I've seen them, driving through a beautiful country, they're not even looking, let alone getting out and walking in it. So an understanding of animals is particularly important. Talking to animals is not with words. I mean, yes, we have a dog, and dogs understand our words, and parrots understand our words, and things like that. But, communication is more mind to mind. Humans depend on the ecosystem, of healthy ecosystems. And as we destroy ecosystems, we're harming the future for our children. And an ecosystem is made up of this interconnected mix of animals and plants. And as we destroy that, the ecosystem can collapse. I've had the pleasure of going onto the Everglades in a canoe, which was fantastic. I know a lot of the problems of the Everglades, the lowering level of the water, the release of the pythons, the need for a corridor to protect the last of the Florida panthers. But I would like to beg all of you to also share the good news, the good stories, because that gives people hope. If they do it, if they save that little creature, we care about this little creature, we can save it too.
So I really appreciate her overarching message of just having hope and just not giving up, and put yourself in positions where you can be helpful, put your phones down, and enjoy what's around you. Thank you, guys.